60 to 80 million men in the United States, which is half of the US population of men, have prostatitis. And if you're like most men in this room, you probably don't know what it is. I was down at Hartford Hospital the other night talking to a man who's about to go in for prostate cancer surgery. And his wife was right there, and I said to both of them, I said, do you know what, I said to him first, do you know what prostatitis is? No, never heard of it. His wife said, oh yeah, I know what it is. And she said, there's 4 different types of it. And he looked and he said, how did you know that? She said, well, I read about it. But again, men don't do it. So prostatitis are 4 different types of infections of the prostate, and some of them are very visible, others are not, but it can also raise your PSA. It can do all sorts of interesting things to your PSA. There are 2 million men in the United States currently living with BPH. Anybody know what BPH is? Benign prostate hyperplasia. You see, when men are born, up until the age of maturity, puberty, the prostate is about the size of a pea. And as soon as you hit maturity, it goes to about the size of a walnut. And it stays at that size until about age 40. And then at age 40, for some reason, it decides it's time to grow again. And it keeps getting larger and larger, and in some men, rapid growth, and others not. But it has all kinds of issues, including issues with urine flow, etc., and it can back you up in some serious ways and can cause, over time, some pretty serious diseases. So we've got 2 million men in the United States who have this disease, who don't talk about it, and we have about 85% in that same number who are totally unaware of it, have no idea. I don't know why I get up 4 times a night, 5 times a night to go to the bathroom, but guess it's normal. And guys will put up with that forever. Then the next thing we have is, now remember how many women had breast cancer? 3 million. What we have right now are 3.3 million men with prostate cancer in the United States. There's an organization called the U.S.Preventative Services Task Force. It's probably something you've never heard of. I didn't until I started doing all this research. And the U.S.Preventative Services Task Force is a group of volunteers who come in, and every year they decide and vote on what treatment protocols we all should have for our health. And several years ago, the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force said women don't really need pap smears anymore. You know, really don't need to get into too much of that. And men, by the way, you really don't need to go in for PSA tests because it can cause an awful lot of mental strife and it can really get you all upset. And there are some false readings. So you really don't need to do that. So then what happened? Well, before U.S. Preventative Services Task Force made their recommendation, the projections were that in the United States each year, 250,000 men would come down with prostate cancer every year in the United States. They said that before U.S. Preventative Services Task Force, that 50,000 men a year would be dying from this disease. U.S. Preventative Services comes out and they say, we no longer need to test. So men, relax, you don't have to worry about it. What do you think guys do? That's right, I don't need a test. You're not going to do that kind of stuff to me. Thank you very much. Goodbye. What's been the result? Well, the first organization that decided to take this up rapidly was the veterans hospitals. And they immediately said men don't need to be tested. In the next 10 years, the levels of advanced metastatic prostate cancer have gone through the roof because men aren't being tested. And all along for the last 10 years, they were saying, you can see, the numbers went from 250 down to 160. We're improving men's health. Prostate cancer is, quote unquote, cured. Nothing could be further from the truth.